Hi everyone, welcome back to the Behind the Scenes series. Today, I'll walk you through this time lapse on the engagement dashboard. If you'd like to see the dashboard in action, click the link above to explore its full functionality. All the resources are available for download in the description. Follow along as we build the entire dashboard from scratch. Now, let's dive in and start building this dashboard with a blank Power BI file. First, we'll bring in our data from Excel. Simply select the file, choose the worksheets you need, and click Transform Data to enter the query editor. For the employee table, change the data type of the masked ID column to text. Make sure to update this for the response table too. Once we're done, click on Close and Apply to load the data into Power BI. In the model view, Power BI automatically detects relationships between tables with matching fields. Double-check these relationships for accuracy, as they are critical for ensuring correct data interaction in the dashboard. Back in the report view, we'll load a custom background for the canvas. Open the Format pane, select Canvas Background, and choose your image file. Then set the transparency to 0 for a crisp look. Next, we'll design the dashboard title. At the Insert ribbon, under Shapes, select Rounded Rectangle. Then format the shape. Adjust the shape size and position. Increase the rounded corners, and change the fill color and transparency. Also remove the border. Duplicate this shape and update its size and position. Change the fill color and transparency percentage. To add the title, click on Text box, choose the font style and size. Then type Employee Engagement Survey Dashboard. Highlight the words Dashboard and Engagement to increase their font size. Format the text box for size, position, and remove its background. Next, we'll create a measure table to organize the measures. Click Enter Data, name the table Measure Table, and click Load. Right-click the measure table and create a new measure for score. Then, delete the column 1 in the measure table for a cleaner view. We will now create all the necessary measures for this dashboard. To save time, I'll fast-forward this part of the video, but you can find all the DAX formulas in the BI template. After we are done creating all the measures, let's work on the first visual. It is using big number to show the overall engagement score. Insert a new card and add current year score to data field. Format the card by first resizing and repositioning it. Next, update the padding and remove the background. Then change the font type and increase the size. Select the measure under series and set the decimal place to 1. Then, turn off the label. Update the card setting. For padding, set as custom to remove its top and bottom padding. Turn off background and border. Duplicate this card for the year-on-year variance, and replace the data field with measure for score variance. Reduce the card size and adjust its position. Change the variance font size and color. Align it to the right, bold it, and turn off its label. For clarity, we'll add a text box for the label versus last year. Update the font style to maintain a consistent design. Format the size and position of the label, and turn off the background. Let's move on to the visual beside. Insert the first donut chart and add current year score and blank score to values. Add employee job level to filter for each role. Set the filter for junior role. For the format, update the chart size, position, as well as the padding. Turn off the background too. Turn off the title, legend, and detail labels. Adjust the slice colors, ensuring the blank measure matches the background color. Increase the inner radius. For the next role, duplicate the chart and change the filter selection to executive. For the second pie chart, resize and reposition it to fit neatly within the first chart. Then update the slice color. Repeat the same process for the remaining 2 roles. I'll fast forward here to keep things concise. Now, we will add the first color line. Resize the line and reposition it. Turn off the fill, update the border color and increase the width. Then adjust the rotation angle. Copy this line for the next one. Adjust the line width and reposition it. Match the line border color to the next pie chart and modify the rotation angle. We'll skip the video for the last two lines. Simply follow the same steps. To show the engagement score of each role, we need a new card. Duplicate the overall engagement scorecard and add employee job level to filter for each role. Then format the card's size and style, and remove all padding. Adjust the font size and alignment. Change the shape to rounded rectangle and increase the rounded corners to 50. Adjust the padding and set the background color. We are done with the first one. Duplicate it for the next role. First, we need to adjust the job level filter to reflect the correct score. Then we just need to update the position and change the background color. As before, I'll skip the video for the next two roles. Just repeat the same steps for them. Finally, add a text box beside each card to clearly label the roles. Format it for size, position, and remove the background. Similarly, we will duplicate it for the other roles. Then replace the text to display the correct role label and shift it next to their card. We'll skip the video for the last two labels. Just repeat the same steps. Alright, moving on to the next chart. Insert the line and clustered column chart. Add survey category to the x-axis, last year's score and current year score to the column y-axis, and benchmark to the line y-axis. Rename the fields for clarity. Format the chart by adjusting its position, size, and remove the background. Update the title and adjust the font type. Also reduce the spacing. Then update the x-axis font type and turn off the title. For the y-axis, disable both the values and title. Repeat this for the secondary y-axis. For the legend, update the font style to match the design, and remove the title to streamline its appearance. For the columns, modify the spacing in the layout and assign specific colors to the bars representing last year and current year. In the line settings, reduce the width to 0 to remove the line. Then we will apply green to the benchmark markers. To make the markers visible, enable the markers option in the settings, update the type to line for better clarity, and increase their size to enhance visibility. This visual is now complete. Next, let's shift our focus to the open-ended feedback section. Start by adding a tile slicer for the question selection. This slicer is specific to the open-ended section, so we need to disable its interaction with the other visuals. Go to Format ribbon, click on Edit Interactions to update the setting to None for the overall engagement score, bar chart, and the donut charts. I will fast forward the video here. Be sure to uncheck Edit Interaction once finished. Then, add the survey question to the field to display the question numbers, and include the survey category to filter for only the open-ended questions. Begin formatting the slicer by repositioning it to the desired location. After that, adjust its size and padding to ensure it fits well within the layout. Finally, remove the background to maintain a clean and seamless design. Next, input the title, modify the font style, and expand the spacing beneath the title. Then change the shape to a rounded rectangle, and set the corner radius to 3 to maintain consistency with the dashboard design. In the layout settings, set the number of rows to 1 and increase the spacing between the buttons. For callout values, update the font type, size and alignment. For the buttons, customize the padding and set the top and bottom values to 0. Switch to selected state and remove the border, as well as adjust the fill color. Test the button to confirm it shows the updated fill color when selected. Next, insert a new card below to display the selected question. Add question to the data field. Format the card by repositioning and resizing it, adjusting the padding and removing the background. Then update the font by selecting a new type, adjusting the size, applying italics, and disabling the label. Within the card settings, modify the padding and disable both the background and the border. Now for the final element of the open-ended section. Insert a table to display the list of responses and add open-ended answers to the columns. Rename the field for clarity. Open the filter pane, filter the responses for non-blank. Then add survey category to filter for open-ended only, and include the response tag for the current year. Now, reposition the table and adjust its dimensions and padding to enhance its alignment. Also, remove the background. Within the grid settings, update the border color to align with the dashboard's theme, and increase the row padding to 2 for better spacing and improved readability. Under Values, adjust the font type and size. Modify both the background color and the alternate background color to improve the table's visual appeal. For the column headers, update the font type and background color to ensure a consistent design. Additionally, disable the auto size width option. Finally, for the totals, turn off the values since the table does not include any computation. That completes the survey visuals. Moving on to the respondent profile section on the right, start by adding a text box for the title. Choose the font type and size, then enter the title text respondent profile. Format the text box for its position, size, and remove the background. Next, insert a new card for the respondent metrics. Add the current year's employee count and the corresponding completion rate to the card. Rename the field for better clarity. Adjust the card by repositioning and resizing it. Reduce the padding and remove the background for a cleaner appearance. Update the callout values by changing their font type and size. For the label, update the font type, change its position to below the value, and set 0 for the space. Then select Employees under Series and change the display units to none. Customize the card padding by selecting the Custom option and setting the top and bottom padding to 0. Additionally, disable both the background and border settings. Now, we will create the necessary columns to group the staff tenure in the table view. Right-click Employee Table to add new column for tenure group. To sort the groups correctly, create a dummy table with the tenure order. Go to Home ribbon, click Enter Data, then input the tenure group and sort order. Name it Tenure Sort, and click Load. Go to Model View to establish their relationships. Back at the table view, create the sorting column. Then sort tenure group by the newly created sorting column. Return to the report view. We will use a shape for the filters label. Navigate to the Insert ribbon and under the Shapes option, choose the rounded rectangle. Adjust its size to fit the design, and reposition it so that it is placed neatly below the respondent data card. Format the shape style, set 35 for the corners, and update the fill for color and transparency. Remove the border and turn on Text to Input region for the first filter label. And update the font type, size and color. With the first label complete, duplicate this shape for the next two labels. For each duplicate, adjust their positioning, modify the fill color to suit the design, and update the text to reflect the appropriate filter label. I will skip the video for the last label. Simply repeat the same steps. Then for the drop-down filter, insert a new slicer. For the first slicer, add region to the field. Adjust its size to fit the layout, reposition it for alignment, and modify the padding to ensure consistent spacing. Also, remove the background. For the slicer settings, change the style to drop-down. Turn off multi-select and activate Select All. Remove the slicer header. Format the value's font type and update the background color. As done previously, duplicate this slicer to create the next one. For the second slicer, replace the field with Employee Department and adjust its position accordingly. Follow the same steps for the final slicer, using Tenure Group as the field, and ensure it is repositioned appropriately within the layout. Moving on, we'll add a parameter to toggle between employee breakdown by region, department, or tenure. Go to Modeling, select New Parameter, and choose Fields. Next, choose the measures for the parameters. To enhance clarity, rename the measures with descriptive labels that reflect their purpose, and click Create. Reposition the slicer and adjust its size. Set the top and bottom padding to 0, then remove the background. For slicer setting, set drop-down for the style, and single select only. Turn off slicer header, then format the values for font type and background color. Finally, insert the tree map visual. Add parameter to category and current year employee to values. Add current year employee to tooltips again, and set its show values as % of grand total to provide additional information. Rename the fields. Format the chart by updating position, size, padding, and background to match the dashboard design. Turn off the title and adjust the font type for the category labels. Then, update the color for the tree map categories. As the tree map categories depend on the breakdown slicer, we'll also need to adjust the colors for each slicer option. Select each category individually and update its color accordingly. Let me speed this part up for you as we wrap things up. We've finished building the dashboard. Now, let's enhance the bar chart tooltips to show detailed question scores for each survey category. Start by renaming the page to Dashboard, then create a new page. Update the page name to Tooltip and type to Tooltips. Set the canvas type to Custom and adjust its size. Then change the canvas background and reduce the transparency. To display the category at the top, insert a new card and add the survey category to the data field. Adjust the card size, position, and padding. Then turn off the background. Format the font type, size, and change the font color to fit the dashboard design. Turn off the label. Set padding to Custom, then adjust the top and bottom padding to 0, and remove the background and border. We are done with this card. Now, insert another new card for the score. Add current year score, last year score, and benchmark to the data field. Rename the fields to improve clarity, as they will be used as labels in the card. Adjust the position, size, set the padding to 0, and remove the background. Change the layout arrangement to single column and space to 3. Update the font type and size. Also update the label font format. Then change the position to below value and reduce the spacing to 2. Then turn off the background and border. The tooltip is nearly complete. Now, we will insert the table displaying the survey questions, along with the current and previous year scores. Rename all the fields to make the column headers clearer, as they will be displayed directly in the table. Adjust the table's position and size, increase the top padding, and remove the background. Update the grid line color to match the dashboard's design. Adjust the font type and size, set it to italic, and modify the background colors for consistency with the overall theme. For the column headers, update the font type and size, set them to bold and italic, and modify both the text and background colors to maintain a unified dashboard look. Disable the auto size width option, then manually adjust the column widths to fit the content neatly within the available space. Next, remove the total line from the table to complete the tooltip setup and return to the dashboard. Finally, to link the tooltip to the chart, select the chart, go to Properties, and under Tooltips, select the appropriate tooltip page. And there you have it, a complete time-lapse step-by-step guide on building the Employee Engagement Survey dashboard from scratch. If you're looking for more dashboard tips and templates, be sure to check out my earlier videos. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video.